Hi. Oh, my screen's a little dark. I may have to position. Oh, that's a little better. I want to sit by this pretty window, but I also want to be not looking like a raccoon person. I want it to be like I'm here with you as we talk. That's a little better. Maybe. We'll see. I may have to recalculate that. All right. So I want to start talking about the chakras, and I want to first talk about why I want to talk about the chakras. Because I feel like it's always good to start at the beginning, you know? I'm going to turn my seat. So if you're not familiar, and if you are, I'm just going to recap from my learned experience. Our chakras are the energy bodies with, the ones that we're going to explore, are the energy bodies within our physical body that play big parts in our day-to-day experience. Each one is responsible for different things that we feel and see in our body. See as in like experience. Feel and experience in our body. And they are each connected with different elements and colors, and all can be regulated and tuned and balanced with your just acknowledgement and subtle, and noticing their subtle cues, if you would. And some of them aren't so subtle, actually. So we're going to start at the base of the spine. That's our first chakra, the root chakra. Sorry, my clothes are all crazy looking today. With our root chakra. And I just wanted to sort of give the idea that, so all of our chakras work together. It's literally like spitting discs up the center of the body, starting at the base of the spine, going up the spine into the brain space, into our skull. And with them being connected, each assist each other. They all go together. But like the root chakra and the sacral chakra right on top of each other, the root chakra being balanced helps the sacral. The sacral being balanced helps the solar plexus. The solar plexus helps the heart. They all kind of work together. I always like to try to, I probably will speak my age when I say this, but I always like to explain it as when they're all balanced and tuned, it feels like your own well-oiled machine, like that Jiffy Lube thing that they use. I don't know why it always sticks. So I just have to just throw it out there because it's just one of those that just work for me. So when they're all open and balanced, you feel your best in your body. You feel safe, you feel free, you manifest things that you enjoy, you are connected to your intuition, your health is, you are thriving in your physical health and your mental health and your emotional health. And no matter where you are in any of those categories, like the same that we covered on day one with health or money, relationships, love, and our soul or life purpose, all of these things, how we feel about each and all of these things can sort of be relayed to us in our day-to-day experience, and they are all connected to different chakras. For example, the more that you do tune in and practice these and learn about these, the more that this will make sense. I think in the beginning it's a little like, oh my God, that's so many things. It's not that many things. It's really not that many things. But it's just a matter of, I want to take some time and break down each one, each energy body, each chakra, and go through what you might experience if it's off balance, if it's imbalanced, if it's overactive or blocked, whatever the wording is, and you'll feel it. You can, if you sit and tune into the body, what is my thought? What is my feeling? What is fueling this energy or this this moment? Most of the time when we're in super happy high states, we're not overanalyzing because we are in alignment. You're not going to find these soul-searching moments when everything is wonderful. You may find clarity. You may find more wonderful. But that's not really a time to go dissecting into, let me see what I can do and dig around in here. When you start living your life, when you're tuning into your energy bodies and you're connecting, you're looking for that soul-body alignment where your physical body and your higher power agree. Everything is for the most part, doing very well, and you are thriving. You're enjoying all of the parts of your life. And we were designed to come into this body and be able to enjoy all of the parts of our life. We don't have to sacrifice. We don't have to just have one or the other. We don't have to have love but no money. We don't get to have money and no love. Like, we don't have to have things the way that they may have been being experienced in our life. There are things that you can do with this sort of healing work, with this sort of energy work, and this is all self-guided. We'll go in. We're going to talk about the shadow work a little bit later, but I want to just say that it's kind of the same idea. You don't go looking for shadow work, and you don't necessarily go like looking for things to heal in your body. When you're tuning in and figuring out what is feeling good, what's not feeling good, you don't have to like go dig for something to look at. Whatever is happening right now is what you are dealing with. If something is really good, you're dealing with really good. If something is wonky, that's when you address it. Now, having said that, it is totally a great idea to have a sort of some sort of a mindful routine, a daily thing where you just take time. I prefer actually 3 times a day, but where you take time and just say, how am I feeling in my body? What could I use right now? Maybe it's meditation, maybe not. Maybe you need physical movement. Maybe you need to go outside and put your feet on the ground, or like garden, or just be in the dirt and soil or among the trees. Maybe you need to be around a body of water. Maybe you need a fucking hug, and we'll talk about what to do, how to do things when you don't have access. We cannot always go out and put our feet in the dirt because it's really cold, and we don't always have somebody to give us a hug. But there are ways that we can soothe, balance, and tune, and keep these energies open so that all the things are just doing it, and they're just gonna, you'll know once you start paying attention, once you like hear some of the things. Oh, okay. So this is, I know this is easy. Like, most of us kind of know our stuff, you don't have, and yet again, like, this is just this work is so personal and intimate, and it's almost tedious. Tedious is actually the word. I want to introduce the idea with not just this work, but all of my work, that we turn into ourselves and really look at our thinking mind as like the parent, the protector, our guardian angel to our body. Our body, like the idea that you just take your body and your alignment as your priority, your health, all of the healths, all of the things, making that your priority. And if it's not because everybody doesn't deserve that. If everyone was making their health their priority, everyone would be reaching for that feeling of wellness and health. When one person reaches for that themselves, they do help everyone around them, whether they know it, feel it, or can understand it at all. You don't actually have to understand it at all. It just happens. When one person, let's say this person in the middle decides to just get healthy, right? They're done. They're done with their loops, the patterns they're done feeling like shit in this experience. They want to have some fun. They want to know that they came into life as a human for just more than to like pay bills and, as my dad would say, pay bills and die. Like, some of our people have been living with this mindset that does not serve us, and you don't have to. We don't have to have things so hard. We don't have to struggle to be worthy. You just are worthy. That's a whole new thing that was brand new to me. You just get to be worthy because you're a human. Yay. But accepting that's not easy. That's when you need to figure out why did you ever let yourself believe you were unworthy? And again, you don't really have to go back and dissect things. They'll come to you. You will feel it, and you will know it, and then you heal it. And I love the chakras because they sort of give us clues and hints, and it's almost like a virtual, roadmap. Like, I'm seeing red. My root chakra might be needing some boosting or some tuning. So root chakra, our first chakra, located at the base of the spine, it is associated with the color red, mostly. But it is also tuned by, the darker colors, like browns and blacks, darker reds. The foods that you would eat or could eat to balance that chakra would be like root vegetables, brown foods. I have a little cheat sheet. So let me pull up my little cheat notes so I can give you as many goodies as I can. And then I'm going to share some of these really pretty images too, because I just think, I know when I first started studying, I kind of just went through, and this is again why I feel like the journal is a good idea. Just writing it down one time, you're teaching it to yourself. My root chakra does this. When I'm feeling imbalanced, I want to eat these things, or I want to try these techniques, or I want to, if you are into yoga or open to yoga, each one, I even want to give you a yoga posture that you could embody and just see what that happens. There's sounds, smells, there are so many things, all the things probably, if I actually thought about it, all of our senses have a connection into each chakra. And for the root chakra, that one that goes with our emotionals, that's our chakra that deals with our safety, our security. That's the one that's responsible for that fight or flight. I always say that weird. It's the fight or flight mode where, like, if you're in survival, if that chakra's overactive, that will throw off the whole ship. That's like the foundation, If you imagine like building a home, you want your ground to be sturdy and strong and to feel that, you don't want to build a home on top of a ground that's going to fall apart, So the things that we can do for this chakra are the element that is associated with it is earth. So anything that connected to the earth, and these things, like, once you sort of like get it, it's pretty easy. Like, reds, earth, like, grounding, being in dirt, eating root vegetables. There's different crystals. I don't know if you guys do any like rocks, meditation with rocks. And again, you don't have to necessarily know the names. I love connecting things with the colors and the knowings of what they want, so that you can just know. You don't have to Google, which rock, and you can. Which rock is good for this? Which rock is good for that? If you're thinking, I would like to keep my root chakra balanced, you just go look for a red rock or something brown. And make it even more fun, ask your intuition to help you. Intuition, self. Little me, big me, however you talk when you're addressing the self, yourself, just say, I want to go on an adventure. I'm going to go in the crystal shop. I want to get something to tune my root chakra. Lead me to it. And let yourself know, I looked at that one, that's the one I wanted. And then celebrate it. I always like to just remind us of all the intuitive techniques. Celebrate your intuitive feedback. When you get something, even if it's just you, yes, do it. It is so good for that connection, that relationship to your inner body, to that soul body alignment. It wants you to play. Our inner child is so responsible for the things that we experience in our life, and our inner child definitely reacts to a balanced root chakra, responds to a balance, and also responds to unbalance and imbalance. Like when you don't feel safe, things get really wonky. Let's see. Let's go over some of the Okay, so if you're feeling, our root chakra, things that you could feel, negative feelings that you could feel, negative as in unwanted, not necessarily negative as in wrong. Feelings that you could feel are insecurity, aggressiveness, anger, eating disorders, scarcity mindset, just like constant state of fear, like not feeling safe in your body. throws so many things off. Sexual dysfunction. Let's see. Let me find the other one. So this is because and again, super simple. It's located at the base of the spine, down near the bum. So it's responsible for things like problems in the legs and feet. It's lowered. It's those guys. It's your feet, the stability, you know, constipation, eating disorders, lack of energy or focus, abundance issues, not feeling safe won't allow your abundance to come to you. Let's see. Low energy, I think I said that. Low energy or lethargy, not being able to sit still, just the constant like gotta go. It's in our body systems, it's responsible for like the circulatory system, your temperature, you know, like these things respond and give you clues like, hey, pay attention to me. You know? So how do we regulate these and bring that root chakra into balance? Red foods, root vegetables, spicy foods. So for the root chakra, if you think, how do I feel grounded and stable? One of the coolest ways to feel grounded is to sit on your bum and sit down. Breathe into that space and just feel your bottom body connecting to your surface. Start to let your body feel safe. Take a couple big deep breaths and just feel it. Sometimes you just need to sit down. Sometimes for the root chakra, it's good to get outside into the earth. I kind of love that one. I feel like anytime you can incorporate nature with your balancing, you're going to find it's easier and more enjoyable. Like let we humans are part of the earth. And just because we spend a lot of times indoors, that does not mean that we were not really designed to get all the benefits of being outdoors too. You know, there are so many things that we receive in our body. All the things, you know, start to open up. Okay, let's not get lost. I'm not going to get lost. Okay, so physical activity is good for the root chakra. Like taking your mind off of material things and into your inner power. Let's see. Try to take, sometimes if your root chakra is super overactive, if you're in the middle of it, you're not going to be able to sit and try to dissect thoughts. And I would not say that. I would say if you're having an experience where that root chakra is really out of whack, you know, you just need to, you're going to want to look for calm and soothing. You don't want to dissect and go and try to like figure things out. Relieve the feeling, and then things will unfold. When you start to address, oh, body, what do you need? You know, why are you feeling fearful right now? Why are you anxious? You know, let's see. So red foods, tomatoes, apples. Okay. So right, if you experience anxiety, chronic fear, lack of physical energy, or just feeling ungrounded, just feeling like you're swirling around, this is probably a sign that your root chakra needs your attention. And you can do many things. You can, with the color red, for example, you could sit in that posture. Breathe into the body, even send your breath down to that space in your body and just imagine red. You could wear red clothing. You can focus on red for a little while and just know that you're like focusing. I'm taking in this color red and I'm sending that power to my root chakra. Your intention is so powerful. I want you to get comfortable with using it and knowing it and believing it. Let yourself see the results of you tuning into yourself. So, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Okay. So there's all sorts of affirmations that you can do. The easiest one I feel like with the root chakra, I am safe. I'm safe. I am safe in my body. I am safe in my home. I am safe. And just let yourself feel safe. You can breathe in. I'm breathing in that red color, and I'm sending it to the base of my spine. I'm breathing in red. I'm feeling in that red. My root chakra is feeling the balance. I'm opening that chakra in my body. I'm bringing awareness. I'm allowing for flow. I'm allowing the connection to my earth, my connection to my safety. I am safe. I love for you to play with the idea of talking yourself into soothing spaces. Let yourself talk to yourself in the most gentle way, like you would to a child or someone that you just treasure and adore. You know, someone that, just someone that you just would never hurt. Even if they're bad, even if they're not the best in that moment, know that they are doing the best that they can do. And let yourself start to know that you are here for you. Let yourself feel safe to be with yourself. That's a wonderful thing to give to yourself. And this root chakra, I feel, is responsible for a lot of other things going wonky, because if your foundation isn't safe, then the rest of the things can't be safe. Your creation isn't safe. Your confidence isn't safe. Your heart isn't safe. Your words aren't safe, and then our thoughts don't feel safe. And whether it's not safe in our body or safe to the others around us, that can all vary. But safe is safe is safe, So let me see. I made little notes before as I was getting ready this morning. Okay. And I will mention that when I learned this, and I learned that the red was a good color for the root chakra, I was more led to the browns. If you find parts of your body respond, something works for you that maybe isn't like the way that it says, let that work for you. You know the best way to heal you. These are just, the overall grid and the way that it was made up, the way that it was designed, so that it all flows in harmony. But not everyone responds the same, because we've all had different experiences. We've all learned what different things mean, and that means a whole lot more than what someone says in a book or from online. So you listening to you is your most powerful healing ability, your best tool. So next we're going to talk about the sacral chakra, which is right above the root. That's, it is connected to the color orange. It's in the genitals area. It's low, like lower than your belly button. And just and imagine everything around that space it is responsible for our reproductive organs, urinary situations, urinary regularity or irregularities, lower back pain, reproductive issues, issues with sex, not wanting sex, not having good sex, not enjoying sex, kidney, bladder issues, bladder infections, UTIs, let's see. Oh, this one also, okay, I actually really love the root chakra, so I get really excited. I'm trying to get some of the facts out before I get into my excitement. Again, it's connected to the safety chakra, but this chakra is responsible for your personal choices. I like to call this one the mind. This one is my mind. This one governs your creativeness, passion, joy, let's see, sensuality, creativity, I think I said that. And really and truly, we'll talk more about this in another space, but this chakra is responsible for a lot of what you experience, what you're able to manifest, what would, especially when you start to manifest on purpose, when you start to deliberately decide what you want to call in. I feel like the feedback that you get is almost directly connected to the orange, to the sacral chakra. If you have any, I don't know how much I explained in that, but I even made a little hashtag on Instagram, Orange Flow, and I've like been tracking my studying and experimenting with like letting myself manifest and be led from my sacral chakra, from the womb space. And in both spaces, all the spaces, we have an ability or an opportunity to flow energy or to block it, to flow emotions or to store them. Stored emotions cause problems. They can cause physical pains, they can cause physical diseases, they can cause emotional pain, emotional disorders and diseases, mental disorders and diseases. This chakra is regulated by the element of water. So okay, let's go to that. I'm going to get more on that. Oh, that's what it was. The root chakra the sacral chakra, when out of balance, you can experience things like shame and guilt. You could have problems with addictions. Just wanting to constantly feed those pleasure centers can be a sign that something is out of balance in the sacral chakra. And similarly to how we would tune into the root, you would do the same. You can tune into that space. You can focus on something orange. You can eat orange foods. You can meditate with orange thoughts and orange light in your body. Also dancing. Dancing is really, let's go to the other, the fun things about the sacral chakra. Okay, so we covered I know dancing, of course, yoga. I thought there was another one I wanted to cover. But imagine, so with the sacral chakra being governed by water, when you're thinking like, okay, how do I calm water? Sorry, my notes are getting lost and my train of thought left me. That was really fun. I haven't gotten into too much of the symbols with them before, but we'll definitely get there one day. Okay. So yes, I mentioned the pleasure centers. If you're finding yourself, just feeling that addiction, whether it's to foods or to actual drugs or chemicals or people and sex activities or, anything like that, can be a sign that there needs to be some attention brought to that space in your body. I'm not finding the note that I wanted for this, so let me go back over here. I don't think that's the page I wanted. All right. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the different healings of the sacral. And again, when it's you would consider, where is this on my body? How would you imagine targeting that space on your body? And in yoga, my favorite one for this one is child's pose. So basically you'd sit on the knees. Let's think how to say this out loud. So from hands and knees, you sort of take the knees wide and then sit back into the opening, so the bum's kind of up. Also, like goddess pose, where the legs are really wide in a squat, the knees are squared out. That one's good for that. Let's see. And there are other ones. Forward folds. Just, again, you're wanting to bring awareness and energy and presence to the chakra, and just being in that space, like knowing I'm bringing in this orange, I am bringing in this healing, or whatever it is that you are doing to balance and tune it. Know that you're doing the work and that it is being done, and let yourself feel the relief from it. Let's see. That's not the angel. All right. I think dancing is one of my favorite ways to settle the settle is not the word, to mix up our energy. Like when your sacral chakra is blocked, that's what I want to say. Okay. And again, this can manifest with physical problems because it's connected right to that root chakra. It can also reflect back, like constipation, urinary problems, which we covered, irregular periods, fertility problems, impotency. And then the feelings that it can feel are low self-esteem, jealousy, depression, lack of creativity. Again, still lack of that energy, because when you don't even have the urge to like please your body, which is your job is to take care of this body, when you don't even feel that, like, it's really easy to just get yourself into a place where you don't want to do anything. This is our second chakra. Orange foods you could eat for this, and nuts, it says. This is not the one I wanted either. I just feel like there's something I'm missing. This chakra, I also will say that in speaking to the womb space, which is definitely governed by this chakra, if you just think about where it is on our body, this space is infamous for holding on to the trauma. The trauma connected to our sex organs, our anything to do with any of that. Any guilt and shame from what you may have done or not done, all of that stuff gets stuck there. And there are ways to like emotionally even tune into that space, and I think this one is where it's the place where you start to work on forgiveness. Like I believe that every person, and not necessarily just women, I'm not a man body, but I could imagine this would be very relevant to a man body. And we definitely have sacral chakras in men. So I will say womb space in men, even though they don't have that per se, but they do have the space. They do have sex organs. They are part of the whole. They can be traumatized by things that happen to that space in their body the same way that women can. And yeah, sure, it's more common in this bodies, but that does not mean that it's limited. And I know that probably most of the people that watch this will actually be female bodied biologically, I just still want to say that it doesn't, that female male stuff, when you're coming into this world of energy, it's so much more than just boy girl. It's when you're thinking of masculine energy in this kind of work, it's the energy of the action, it's the doing. It's not man penis necessarily. It's your human action, versus the feminine energy is your creation, your inspiration, and letting that blend so that you act from a place of inspiration is what gets everything going in the right direction. Letting yourself tune in and starting like where you are, because that's exactly where you are, and it's the perfect place to be. And just, if you're not feeling safe, then you start at the root chakra, and likely as you start to tune, you'll kind of notice, oh, well, now that these guys are good, now these guys need a little bit more. And it all makes sense. It's like a yellow brick road to alignment. You start at the bottom and you just work your way up. There's, times during the day when you can just take some time, and, if you're feeling a little agitated and you want to get grounded, just take a little time and feel your seat. Drop into your breath and take a couple of deep breaths and just feel into your body. Remind yourself that you're safe and that you're here. Okay, and then so for the sacral, this one, when you're feeling those not creative, not inspired, no passion, those kind of things. Okay. And this chakras are the one connected mostly with our emotions. And letting yourself be present. How am I feeling? And then knowing, like, I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to do this. Letting yourself feel the emotion and not try to fix it. Just let it be in your body. And then as it passes, start to see the message that was coming through with that. And then once you take that message and acknowledgement, then you just keep it moving. It's just constantly continuous moving and molding of energy that we are doing in this whole process. But certainly when it comes to self-healing, energy healing, shadow work, inner child work, it's just going to be a constant little one thing after another. And the more that you could settle into the idea that this is just going to keep on going, and I'm never going to be like this perfect end game in physical form, because that's not what we came here to do. We, in humans, came into the physical form to just experience how things feel. Even things that don't feel good are meant to help us manifest what we would prefer. And the sacral chakra, that's the money spot for that one. That's the one. Like, you can, if it doesn't hurt to sit and look around, and if you're willing to accept that you played a part in your experience, whether you physically invited it or emotionally allowed it, all that's not, it's not all the same. And I'm not saying you ever did anything to purposely hurt yourself. No one does anything to purposely hurt themselves. And I honestly don't believe, I can't say that. I don't believe that people want to intentionally hurt each other. We were not, the reason that we feel the hurt is to help us be guided back toward the unhurt, to help us be guided back towards the things that feel good, so that we can just know, oh, I was going the wrong way, thinking that thought, or showing up in that space, or continuing that relationship, or continuing to not address this habit. Even, habits can be a thing to work through, whether it's food or people or drugs or alcohol. I would never say to turn into a habit and be like, we're quitting, because likely that habit is going to be like, yeah, you think? Hold my beer. Because it's not. You know, in the same with the shadow work, which we will get to. And I know I'm jumping back and forth, but you'll find a lot of that coming to light from this chakra. You know, a lot of that past trauma, beliefs, things connected to our moms, our ancestral moms, you know, the whole mother image and how it's done and how they're treated, we are treated, you know, like, and all the things. And because we are connected, because we have experienced different lifetimes in our stream. Yeah, this body is only 40 some years old, but my stream has been doing this for a really long time. And my stream has so much information stored. And when I open that up, when I go into that soul body alignment, I'm inviting it all in. And that sometimes will show me things that I need to heal, usually because I have not quite yet mastered being in full alignment, which we never would. Full alignment is reemergence, you know, our death experience. Like, there's nothing to align to when you are fully aligned, because you are all that. It's all the same. There's nothing, you don't have to align when you are all the same, you know? We have to align in this body because non-aligning is disconnecting ourselves from source, our God, our stream, our universe, our intuition, our healing ability, our replenishing ability. You know, when we have all these things tuned, you feel it, you know, you're healthier, your immune system gets stronger. Your energy level picks up, your skin looks better, your body looks better, you feel better, and you are better. And it just starts by just turning and just looking into that emotional space. What do I need? What's feeling off? I think I need a Nancy break. I think I need a timeout. My human needs a break. And that's why I kind of like to do like 3 times a day, just like your meals. Don't, if our emotions are responsible for our reality, and they are, why aren't we taking more time to care? You know, that's always my thing. Like, we make so much big stink. Eat nutritious, 3 meals a day, la 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 la. Whatever the plan is that we're listening to, right? And we will just let our emotions run rampant. It's just like a lazy Susan, or what is that? What's that ride? Not a ride, but you know what, the amusement park? Not an amusement park. Playground, when kids are little and they have that thing that spins and you kind of hold on, but it can get going and flip you right off. You know, like, I forgot where I was going with that. That's what it's like when you don't take care of your emotions. You just walk into a room and somebody's mean to you and now you're sad. You walk outside and someone is nice to you, now you're happy. You walk in the other room and someone is just like terrible to you and now you just... That's exhausting. And it's not empowering. And it doesn't last long before things start manifesting to get you to get your shit together, because that's not what you came here to do. You know, you came here to have creative control. We were given the power of thought to think on purpose, to use this information to allow all the parts of us. How much of that brain? I don't even like to remember this number because it usually irritates the bees wees out of me. Like, what's that percentage? Like, our brain is a big ball of 100 and we use like 10. We got all this other brain over here. What do you think? Not what do you think, but what did I think it was for when I first started learning this? You know, like, there are things about this stuff that I've known as a child, and because adults think that they are doing things to take care of you, they tell you that that's not how people live. That's not the way the world works. That's not real. And a lot of my stuff turns out that they were wrong. But it wasn't because they were trying to mess up my human experience. They were doing the best that they could do, given the information that they were receiving and transmitting and allowing. Like, my parents would have never entertained some of the things that I teach and live and practice every single day. My mom does now because she's re-emerged into non-physical, and she is elated. She loves me now, like that I care about me now. You know, she always does love me, but like, you know, she loves that this is what I'm doing. But my mom, and if she'd just still been in real life, she'd be worried. Of course, she did have a chance to see that I was doing better, and it did make her really happy. But I remember this one time I went to visit her in this nursing home. And this is actually when I first discovered how much I was in love with crystals and rocks. And somewhere in my heart, I knew that she really appreciated amethyst. I'm not even sure if I even knew it was a crystal at the time. I don't even know if I knew the difference between rocks, crystals, stones. Well, personally, I'll call them all rocks, but I didn't even really understand. I thought it was like a birthstone thing. I never really connected any of this. This was back before I really learned all of that. And I asked in one of our Facebook groups, does anybody have a hunk of amethyst around, like a rock that I could have? Because at this point, I feel like my finances were down. I mean, everything was going like that, you know? So there was no money to just go shopping and buy amethyst. And as far as I knew, I probably couldn't afford it. I really probably could have. But in my head, I was just like, nope. You know, so I asked, hey, anybody got an amethyst? And I got one, and I took it to my mom, and she was so happy. She loved it. And I remember talking to her because I was learning about it, and I was learning about energy and stuff. And I was like, Mom, so I have learned, this was back when I first started doing the moon rituals. I was like, I learned that you can sit this rock in the window at the full moon, and it'll charge it and make it stronger to help enhance the frequency and the feelings and the transference between you and your body and this rock. And my mom looks at me, she's like, Nancy, I want these people to send me home. If I start putting rocks in the window and tell them that the full moon is charging it, they're not going to let me leave. I was like, oh, good point. But it's true. and there's just so many. I don't know really how I remember how I got to that story, but it is really one of my favorite stories. And it is the story of how I learned how much I completely love all the stones and the crystal healing, you know. It got me started into the whole energy healing sessions and Reiki and all that beautiful magic. And that's kind of just the way that this unfolded for me. I started doing one thing. Like when I started this work, I was suicidal. I was done. You know, I was fucking done. And I was angry about it. And I was so done. There was a plan in place. You know, I had written out and notarized documents for my children to be taken care of. And nobody knew. Nobody knew. And it just happened that I was at the right place at the right time where I was planning all of this. And I just sat down on the ground, literally surrounded by the ocean. So now if you're listening, root chakra, sacral chakra. My solar plexus was shot, y'all. Except for the fact that it was like pitch black and I could walk in the dark where I had never been before. But my heart, like looking out in the ocean, my heart just exploded even though it was so dark that I could almost not see anything, and then it made it feel bigger. But just letting myself be so swallowed up and so ready to fully surrender, you know? Like it was the perfect storm is not the right word, and the right word, for my intuition to finally like get a hold of me and shake me. You know, that was when I feel like I first allowed Rose to be so strong in my experience. And it was then that I kind of turned the reins over to her and I said, you promising me that you're going to help me find happy again. Not because I'm drinking, not because somebody's making me feel important,
And she promised. And one by one by one by one, thing by thing by thing, chakra by chakra, trauma by trauma, shadow by shadow. 4 years later, here we are. Is it more than 4? It's a little more than, it's getting there. But, and this work didn't turn out that I didn't think that this was going to be it. I just thought that I just wanted to be happy and not want to feel that way anymore, ever again. I had disassociated with everything that felt like it was for me because I had turned into such a codependent person. If I wasn't making somebody else appreciate me or make me feel worthy or make me feel useful, that there was no parts of me that had that anymore. The drinking was my break, and that period, God, was it a whole decade? Probably a whole decade of the drinking and the things that went along with the drinking, and then it was a matter of such a small window. When I'd start drinking, I'd feel relief and happy, yay! And almost without a doubt, there was a space and time where it just never failed. I'd black out. And I'd lose time. And then I couldn't trust myself. And that was why at the end, I was just done. There was nothing that felt right. And because I knew that I had to quit drinking, and I didn't want to do that because that was my only fun. That wasn't fun. But, in that time, that was my only relief. Everything was so hard for me, and it was on purpose. That was my real rock bottom. When you're ready to not live, when it feels easier to just surrender, that's a real rock bottom. I'm literally saying that right now as I am in medium homelessness. And I do not feel like this is half the rock bottom that it was when I met Rose. It's kind of a rock bottom. It's just medium. But I'm all right about it. I realize that this is part of my process, and I'm actually thankful for it because I know the other side of this is I will never have to experience that again. And I know that for me, I had to go all the way down to the bottom to let myself know and understand how completely worthy I am of having a safe and stable home. But I had to create it in my body first, and that was just my own path. And, this work I have used to I think my first thing, when I didn't even realize, the first time I started to turn into the intuition stuff before, and this is probably how Rose came so easy. I had been doing Atkins dieting, and then low carb, and I, right when this all came crashing down, I had found out I was very pregnant with my third little one, and I had been using protection. It was not planned, and it felt like the last straw. That was really my last straw. I was like, I got no more to give. And then I knew once I wasn't going to follow through with the plan, that I was coming back home. I knew that once I decided to continue my pregnancy, because I thought that was not going to work. No part of my life looked like I should be having another baby. Especially because at that point my drinking had taken really a big vengeance on myself. I was just doing it to myself. The number I was doing on my body with the booze and the blacking out and the drugs, it was just crazy. It was really crazy. And it was crazy that I felt like that was fun, and that was my joy. That was my present. Whew. So, you don't have to go looking. It'll come to you. And whether it's, as I was getting there, it was about weight loss. I've lost 100 pounds twice. The first time I was in my 20s, and I did it with diet and exercise. The second time, I had lost 40 pounds with Atkins and then stopped. I was done. I was done with the hard work, and then I had decided that I was going to have a baby, and it's not really one of those diets that are super recommended, even though I was able to kind of keep some of it. And I just gave up that too. And I let Rose handle that too. And I learned that we can manifest our physical body healing. We can manifest weight loss. We can manifest weight gain. We can manifest shapes in our bodies to change. You know? We can manifest younger looking bodies and stronger bodies. And it doesn't, I had never joined a gym. I just had to make sure I didn't lie. I've never joined a gym. I've been in like 2 gyms, I think. Oh no, I did try to do like a YMCA trial. I think I only went to 1 time though, because I wanted to take the girls swimming. So I was like, I'll just sign up for the gym for the day, you know? The things that I feel like I've been able to accomplish, especially with my physical body manifesting, those things that happened were not allowed by the way that I was taught with the diet and exercise. I didn't have to do any of that hard work. I kind of said my piece. I made peace with my body. I leaned into that radical acceptance, you know, because self-love was not there. I was definitely not close to self-love when this first started. But I could understand acceptance because I understood that there was no way I was going to make a next step if I couldn't accept this one. And I need to know where I am to know where I'm going, you know? So even if it's not my favorite, even though it's not my most proudest moment, I appreciated being able to accept, and that I could get behind. So I feel like this has gone on for a minute, and I'm going to get ready to stop. And I will do a little recap of the things that we covered, some just especially for the chakras, the balancing, the tunings, and the things that you can notice in your experience. Also, PPPS. If you are walking around during the day and you're seeing a bunch of orange, like I want to turn my camera around. Okay, so there's orange glass. I'm looking at that orange strap. There's orange on that wrapper, orange cup, and then red, which is hilarious because I'm sitting here talking about the root and sacral chakras. There's orange over there. Like, when you take time to tune into those things, they will just start coming to you. Also, when you are starting to like go about the day and all of a sudden you notice you're seeing those colors everywhere, this is a really good opportunity. I'm seeing a lot of red today. Really easy way to know if it's off balance or on balance. How do you feel? I'm seeing red and I feel great. Then your root chakra's jamming. You know, same with orange. If you're seeing some orange and you're feeling funky, I think I need to tune in to me and see what me needs. Just me. Sometimes it's my drink is warm and I would like cold water. I do not like to write in books with weird rings because they do things when I mess with the pages, and that is not my preference. The mind regulator is the most tedious guy. That's the one connected to the emotions. Those are the ones like when you see things like, you know, nails on a chalkboard, not only do you hear it, you feel that, you know? And when you feel, you're manifesting from that. So the orange guy is pretty good one to pay attention to, but it can't be balanced if it's not on a strong foundation, on a balanced foundation. You know, if the root chakra is out of whack, you might find that your sacral is also out of whack because it's not safe. So it's like, you know, so it's all connected, and it's just like a little process of tuning in and what do I need? If I'm seeing a lot of, and of course, you know, the other colors as you go up, I'm seeing a lot of this. Am I okay? Do I need to go get a salad? You know? Because I'm seeing all this green over here. I'm wondering, do I need some heart chakra love today? There's green behind me as I say that. You see that? See that little green dot? Okay. So I'm going to go. I'll send a update about what we covered. And I'm here for any questions, whether they are in the group, in a post, in the message. I'm going to share I'm going to make in the topics section, I'm going to share a bunch of these really pretty
images. I'm a person who enjoys pictures versus words. I can write the words, but reading words does not feel good in my body. So a lot of the ways that I like to do the teaching back is to try to cover all those bases of how we kind of ingest and take things in. I'm a pictures person. Give me pictures, please. So I'm going to share, I probably will missed, in this group, it's going to be for the chakras, but, and all the things. Like, it'll be talking, it'll be pictures, it'll be words. Anything I can do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to share all the teachers that I learned from, too, all the time. Anytime you have any questions about, like, the information that I've learned or acquired, where I've gotten it from. Sometimes it's from a teacher that I've learned from. Sometimes it's from Rose. And I'm happy to always be completely open about where all that comes from. I will just say, if I haven't covered this before, so I've actually had a few teachers, but my most influential teachers are Abraham Hicks and Matt Kahn. And these are two that I study and learn from on a daily basis. And I have not Matt Kahn. Matt Kahn's only been the past year, but Abraham has probably been every day for 2 or 3 years, 2 years. Before that, I'm actually, now that I'm saying it, I don't even remember the teacher that I was listening to before Abraham. That's kind of crazy. But, I've gone through the teachers until I found what made sense to me. And to me, because of the way that I learn and the way that I have let myself experience my life, I really like literal explanations, I want you to break it down because I want to do a really good job, And for me to do a really good job, I have to fully understand because I like to please people. I like to heal people. I like to help people. I like to teach people. I'm a connector. I always say that, I like to help connect the dots. I like to help connect what you need, whatever it is, And being able to let yourself turn into yourself and heal these parts, you get to find those things in you that set you free like that make you wake up at 4 a.m. every day because you just can't wait to just figure out what you're going to learn more about your own work. I get to do my work and I learn and learn and teach every day. And that's just my fucking bomb ass loop. And I made that all by myself. And it's lovely, So yeah, that's all. I'm gonna stop rambling. Even though I'm having a great ramble. But I will let you go. I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Have a wonderful day whenever you see this. I don't want to mention the snow, but if you see this Wednesday, get outside before the snow tomorrow if you're in Baltimore. And that's all. I'll talk to you later. Have a great evening.